All right, I got another one for you guys. This comes from Niche Gamer. Nintendo files new device with detachable screens. Nintendo filed a new device with detachable screens and other features. The new device, filed with the World Intellectual Property Organization, is actually two devices in one. Each device has a separate screen, with the top screen appearing to both flip open but also slide over the bottom screen to make a more compact handheld. And I actually looked at the website for this, and it looks like it kind of looks like it's two separate. It's like a screen that probably has some kind of a latching connector that connects to the bottom device, and I think the bottom device is actually the handheld. The top device is just a screen that flips over atop of it, and you can see in this configuration right here, kind of looks like a Nintendo DS with the top screen and the bottom screen with looks like an analog stick, and probably you're going to have buttons on the right. There's some other images here with shoulder buttons, and we'll get to that in a minute. But this is the basic configuration that I can see. And if you flip it around, it basically detaches and flips around and then reattaches. And I believe the connector in there, it kind of works like USB-C, where you can plug that in. Either way, it doesn't matter. So the pin layout is either smart enough to know what that layout is going to be and reconfigures itself, or it's symmetrical so that the top pins and the bottom pins, or the left pins and the right pins, are effectively the same connectors, and they just can be reversed. So I'm not really sure how Nintendo did it, but that's it looks like a reversible connector. And you can actually see the mechanism here. You can see it's kind of a latching mechanic, and it's at this angle. So this is in the configuration where it's over top of the other screen. And then you can see another diagram here where it's kind of in that Nintendo DS mode, which actually, if you flip it around, because it's angled, it actually angles that screen up, and it makes it more like a Nintendo DS, actually, where the top screen is angled. So it's kind of an interesting way of doing things. I don't know if this is going to be the Switch 2, but it's certainly an interesting concept, and you can see that there's like a button you can push, and it looks like that is what disconnects the screen. It unlatches the screen from being connected to the bottom device, and you can flip it around that way. So the other image that I see here is this. It's kind of like it's a different shape to the other images, so it looks more like there's two sets of shoulder buttons, and you can see the mechanism on the bottom of this diagram here, but those are on the top left and top right. And then that disconnect latch is right in the middle at that 191. That's the disconnection latch for the screen to attach and detach. And yeah, I mean, it looks really interesting. Certainly not like a Switch. And you can actually see those shoulder buttons are on both the screen and the bottom device. So you've got 4 on each side, a total of 8 buttons that you've got access to there. Best guess, it's probably like in this configuration, like it is here, it's just more like a tablet, almost like a tablet mode, and then the other configuration is more in game mode, I would say. So you can actually like use the analog stick, and there's probably going to be buttons on this, I would imagine. But a lot of times when they file these things, it's just a generic layout, a generic shape, and you can see that there's two separate shapes here. So you've got this shape and the more oval shape. And yeah, I mean, it's an interesting idea. It's certainly different. It's not like a Nintendo Switch. It doesn't have the Joy-Cons and the ability to have that 2-player mode, which I don't know how many people actually use that. So maybe they're phasing that out. That could be too. It would make sense that if the Joy-Cons were having issues, and they did have issues, especially in the beginning, and maybe that's like a long-term maintenance issue for the Switch. So maybe they're phasing it out. This could also be a budget model of the Switch 2. You don't know. Because the Lite version of the Switch is actually all one solid unit, so that could be the case here as well. But yeah, you don't know. It could be the Switch 2. It could be a Lite version of the Switch 2. Maybe the next generation Nintendo DS. Who knows? Nintendo's crazy like that, so you don't really know. But yeah, they filed this thing in with the patent office, so it could very well become a real item. Again, with these filings, though, they don't always pan out. A lot of times they're they're just putting these things into the property organization, into the IP, so that they have the rights to it. They have the markdown that, this is their invention and it's their property, even though they may never use it. So I mean, that's been the case with Nintendo, especially over the years. They filed for a lot of things that didn't pan out, that didn't turn into real products. So take this with a grain of salt, but yeah, looks kind of interesting. Definitely a different piece of tech for them, and they're kind of notorious for doing that. So hopefully this will not turn into the Wii U. Hopefully the Switch 2 is not Wii U. So we'll find out. And that's all I got for you guys. Hope you enjoy the vid, and I will talk to you later.